stamping them. You're Canadian, you're okay. You're not Canadian, you got problems. We hold you to a different standards. Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about, again, the most hated, well, in my books, the most hated premier of Canada, Danielle Smith. I don't understand. She just keeps trying to find the new bottom when it comes to her and her policies. I don't understand sometimes these ideas her and her government they come up with. Like, do they not just take a second just to think, just because we can do it, should we do it? I think that would save her a lot. And what's the icing on the cake is she's doing well in the polling. I think it was 42%. To me, it's just the leader of the NDP party. It's just they don't like him. I think if they had a better leader, they would vote for NDP. But I have nothing to go on. That's just my feeling, and I'm going to stick with that. Because she is just so insufferable. The ideas and the things she comes out. Now, I digress from my little rant. What we were going to talk about, really, about Danielle Smith, is this driver's license identification card that they're going to do and add a Canadian citizenship logo on it. Whoever said this was a good idea? For what problem is this going to solve? Okay. So let's go over it. The government of Alberta announced Monday that driver's license and identification cards will feature Canadian citizenship markers. The mandatory change, which is the first of its kind in Canada, will roll out in late 2026. We believe in making things better, faster, and more convenient for everybody, she said. I don't remember anybody ever saying that we need a citizenship marker on our license because it's going to make society better. Adding citizenship information to driver's licenses allows for Albertans to more effectively apply for funding and services like student aid, health benefits, and disability supports, Smith said. God, she's so stupid. And the people who believe this will work is just as stupid as I'm sorry, you guys are stupid if you think this is a great idea. You think student aid, health benefits, and disability supports, all you do is just going to show up with the idea that says Canadian and you are approved? There's more to it. You have to bring other identification or other IDs, other supporting documentation. Your social insurance number, proof of, like, for example, student aids, how much your parents make, how much you make, your social insurance number, which indicates if you're Canadian or not. You don't need an ID where it says a little stamp that says Canadian. Your social insurance number is what will do it for you. It's the same thing for disability supports and health benefits. You always need to bring your social insurance number to the table. This change, and they go on to say, this change means that when Albertans need to prove both their identity and their citizenship, they'll be able to do it so with a single document. How many times in your life, just ask yourself a simple question. How many times in your life have you ever needed to identify your ID and citizenship? There are people out there that have never done it for 20, 30, 40 years. A lot of citizens, okay? And then there's other ones probably once a year. And then there's other ones multiple times a year. You know how it's like the way that's ranked? You do very well, never. You're middle class, once in a while. When you're poor, all the time. Okay? Again, social insurance number. There's already a system for this. This is stupid. We're going to talk more why they're doing it, again, my opinion, but it's hard not to see it. This is the one that kind of just as stupid too. But the change is also about protecting our democracy, noting that the change will help preserve the integrity and security of elections. Oh God! Stop the steal. Identity or voter turnout, whatever that's going on in the U.S. is now spread. That brain rot has spread here. What integrity of the vote? Show us that you've seen an uptick of false votes, because if you did really see an uptick of false votes, you guys wouldn't be in power. The NDP would be running that province. Do you know what a better idea to protect the democracy of elections? You don't like ID. Yeah, ID. Yes, you're gonna need an ID. So when you show up to the polling station, they can match your name from the voters list to you, so they can check you off. Because right now, when you sign up, it's you go online. You check, yeah, I'm over 18, I'm a Canadian citizen, blah, 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 and address and whatever, and you're on the list. And you also sign a declaration that you're a Canadian citizen. Really, like, there's no physical proof. Okay, I can understand that's a problem. I'll give you that. But why don't you just register everybody? Every Albertan who, once they turn 18, you register them to vote. And you connect it to their social insurance number, their SIN number. And because Alberta has access to the CRA and that database. So they know everybody who lives in Alberta, who's over the age of 18, their home address, mailing address, whatnot. You send them their voter cards, where they got to go for every election. Federal and provincial. Municipalities could do the same thing. They have access to it or get it from the province. Problem solved. And then you just bring your normal driver's license and show them, John Smith, I live at 123 Apple Lane, and I'm here to vote. Show them your ID. They look at the list, cross you off, and done. Because you're already there from the database of the CRA with your social insurance number, because only Canadians have social insurance number. Well, except for permanent residents have one, two. Land immigrants are still citizens. But what I'm saying is they're in the database will say who's a Canadian citizen. And they can go by that information. And then you don't have to put more data on somebody's cards. That makes too much of common sense because, this government's all about common sense. But why do something that has common sense in it? Let's put a stamp on someone's ID to let everybody else know if they're Canadian or not. So, this basically all stems from her hardcore base, which is just running her, that hate immigrations, that hate non-Canadians. And she's giving them, this is a dog whistle for them, okay? That now they can somehow, however they're going to get somebody's ID or whatnot, they can really identify that they're not Canadian. Because before you couldn't. They'd say, well, you're not a Canadian because you're brown, you're not white, you have an accent. But now they actually have like a stamp why you're not Canadian. And they're loving it. They're salivating on this. They're thinking Canada's saved now because of this. This country is founded by immigrants. It's been built by immigration. You can have disagreements on the latest policies of how Canada has let too many in. And I will agree with you on that because of social services, the infrastructure, the resources cannot handle an influx of too many people. No society is capable of handling that. But this is stupid. This does not solve any problems, present or future. You've now created a hostile area where anybody now can truly know if you're a Canadian or not. And why should they? Who gives a shit? Unless you're, like you said, applying for certain services that are only offered to Canadians. Agreed. You say there's problems with frauds. Again, social insurance number. You're giving people almost like a scarlet letter. You're tagging people, Canadian, not Canadian. As long as you're, even Canadians that have been here for multiple generations, I don't consider Canadian because they shit all over society and they're not good for the community. An actual Canadian is somebody who contributes to society, that's good to your neighbors, that helps everybody out, that goes to work, to learn, to be kind. That's what a Canadian is. Yes, I understand legally, whatever, the citizenship and everything, whatnot, but a true Canadian is exactly what I stated. And there's a lot of true Canadians that don't fit that criteria. But they're Canadian because they have a citizenship. We got to stop this. This is like you were going down a path just like what the States has gone. And look at them. Look at them. Are they doing well? No. They've become a shithole country that Trump complained about it during his first term. And this is the start of it. Alienating people, dividing them, stamping them. You're Canadian, you're okay. You're not Canadian, you got problems. We hold you to a different standards. I hope this fails. I hope they push back. But again, 41% approval rating in Alberta. She's worrying about little stupid things like this. Or even just the health card number or your health card, which was a piece of paper up, and your only guys are only updating it now. I thought you were a rich province. You're just updating your health card now from a piece of paper? Like we've had here in Ontario, an ID, photograph ID. Like years ago, we had those those red and white cards, which was an actual plastic card, not piece of paper that Alberta has been giving out for so many years. And you guys are just going now to a photo ID, which is, I don't even know if it's, no. It's a digital wallet. Oh my God, you conservatives must be loving that. Everything on the internet. What do you think about that? What do you think about your healthcare information is going to be on a digital wallet? Yet, Danielle Smith is doing great. You know why? Because she put a stamp on everybody's ID to make sure that if you are a Canadian, that's the only way to identify you. Not by how you work, how you act, and how you contribute to society. Disaster. Absolute disaster. You know why? Because that's an easier thing to do than actually solve the problems of the province. You reap what you sow, I guess, right? Anyways, that's it for me. Let me know in the comments what you actually think about this. And I mean, like, I'm not just saying it's a good idea. I mean, actually defend it. Okay? Tell me of the problems it's going to solve. Anyways, guys, take care. We'll talk later.